Are you ready?
Let's get after it. Oh, yeah.
Taco Fall! Taco Fall!
The Neon Ghost Show.
And yes, welcome to the Neon Ghost Show. I am the Whiskey Panda. Look at the ambiance we got going on here in the office, folks. This first episode, kind of the first episode. It's the first episode for Spotify and YouTube, but it is episode, I don't know, 200, something like that. Those of you that don't know, this show started on burning it on CDs, emailing it out to friends in this office right here. Me and two of my buddies from Jiu-Jitsu started this in this office 10, 11 years ago. Kind of grew it from there. Hooked up with Rainier Avenue Radio. We're an FM radio station. Then we went to the internet. Was with them for a long time. Have nothing but love for them. We were there. Decided it might be time to level up, step the game up, and do something like this. I feel like there's a lot more opportunities and possibilities if I do something like that. And I'll be honest, it was a big decision I had to make, and it bothered me a lot for a little while. And when I reached out to D Money, aka Mr. Fresh Juice, Rainier Avenue Radio, I told him, just laid it out. Hey man, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go do this. No hard feelings, nothing but love for you. All that stuff. And he hit me back with a letter. It honestly made me tear up. He started off by saying, "Yeah man, do you. Big things. Good luck. All that stuff." But then he said, "This is the end of an era," and he's right. It was Fresh Juice After Dark and Neon Ghost Show had left that AM station and went and started this little internet radio station called Rainier Avenue Radio. And Neon Ghost Show was always a late night show. It was always meant to be a late night show. But I was running into issues with having to book guests and do things and edit the show and get it turned in on time to D-Money to then air on time. And those are all on me. Those are my faults and miscomings. Work life gets in the way and I couldn't turn in a show, or I turned in a show I could feel was half-assed, and deciding to take the next step this way, I can control when I put the show on, how long it is, what's on it, all that type of stuff. And when D-Money sent out the email to the rest of the cast of shows there, he had also put on there that it was time to say goodbye to one of their longest running shows. After 190 something episodes, the Neon Ghost Show was moving on to bigger and better things, and he had also put that, and I don't want to say because a lot of hands have been put into this pot to do this, whether it's from guests, D-Money being a producer, people I call to ask how I do something. So I never feel like the show is mine, or it's like an I thing. It's always we. So when I say we, it's anyone that's ever been on my show, helped me, given me advice, watched, listened. That's why it's we, okay? We helped build their late night programming. And D-Money didn't hesitate to say it would not exist if we wouldn't have done what we did for them. And that really got me choked up, because I'm taking this big step to do stuff like this, and I have a lot of ideas of things I want to do now that we're on Spotify and we'll be on YouTube. Can do a lot of video things, just a lot of fun stuff to do, and I have a lot of friends in those fields that will help me do things. But it still got choked up and it bothered me. But then that's what made me realize those moments in life when you got to take those steps. You got to take those big risks to level up. Well, if the Neon Ghost Show is going to level up, we got to do it bigger and better. And that's what I intend to do. So those of you that have been with me since the beginning, those of you that are new, and those of you that found us somewhere in between, I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you wasting your time with me. And I can tell you this, the very first episode ever done of this wasn't called Neon Ghost Show back then, but it was created in this office by three guys running their mouths, and all because I had said, hey, I kind of want to do this. You guys want to come with me? And they jumped on board. And anyone I have ever asked to jump on board or to help me has always been, yeah, okay, let's go. So I thank everyone who's helped that. But I also feel it's a full circle situation when I get to sit here and do things like this from this office, Didn't look like this back then. But from this office, when that idea of me saying, hey, it'd be fun, run my mouth into some microphones and let's just see what happens. And now we've come full circle and here we are, Spotify, YouTube. Gotta step my game up, gotta level up, gotta do work. Let's get after it.
What do you say you get the ADD under control? You look me in the eye when I'm talking to you.
Every so often, the fight gods align, and as spectators, we get to witness that which could become the stuff of legend. We are on the brink of such a time. Out on the horizon of combat sports, 3 fights that we've heard the what-if rumors about for a long time. This is Kumbach Corner.
All right, fight fans, who's ready for some combat tonight? Let me hear you. Here we go.
October 28th, Saudi Arabia. We see the boxing heavyweight champion, baddest man on the planet, Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, the baddest man in the heavyweight division of MMA. Tyson Fury has been in this boxing game a long time. Made his pro debut in 2008. The man has 34 pro boxing fights, 33 wins, 24 by KO, 9 decision, 1 draw. He's the best heavyweight boxing championship of all time. And he's crazy as shit. You watch this guy's fights, his hands are down, he doesn't care. He's real lanky, gangly. He's actually a lot of fun to watch fight. He's knocked out Deontay Wilder, twice, I think? Something like that. His last fight, he knocked out Chorizo, TKO. The man is a goddamn legend and a beast. And clearly, he's looking for bigger and better out there because he's kind of already cleared out the heavyweight division of boxing. And so he's agreed to fight this man, Francis Ngannou, UFC heavyweight champ. Left UFC on a 6-fight win streak. Left UFC because he felt he wasn't getting paid what he thought he deserved. I'm not him, so I can't say. I don't know. I think leaving the UFC, signing with the PFL, able to box, maybe it's a good decision, maybe it's not. I'm not him. I can't speak for that. What I can speak for is this man has the hardest punch in the world. He holds the world record for the hardest punch ever thrown. Now, he's used to fighting MMA. Made his pro debut in 2010. 20 fights, 17 wins, 12 KOs, 4 subs, 1 decision, 3 losses by decision. This is the baddest man on the planet. Here is Tyson Fury, boxing, baddest man on the planet. But if you throw in MMA, you get kicks, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking. Who's really the baddest man on the planet? Francis Ngannou has decided he wants to go to the boxing world where they're just boxing. There are no kicks, there are no takedowns, there are nothing. There's not 4-ounce gloves, there's 16-ounce gloves. There's not 5 5-minute rounds, there's 10 3-minute rounds. This fight will be bananas. We'll truly see who is the best to do it. I personally think Tyson Fury wins, but I won't be shocked if Ngannou catches him with that right hand and flattens Tyson Fury. Is there a rematch clause? I don't know. I would assume so. Tyson Fury loses, he's going to want to go get that shit again. One catch, the man in Ngannou's corner, the man helping him train, this man right here, Iron Mike Tyson. If you don't know him, Google him. Look at highlights. Those of us that have been around long enough, we know exactly who he is. Can Mike Tyson teach Ngannou some boxing? Probably. Man knows enough of it. Will it matter against Tyson Fury? Who knows? But come October 28th, we gonna find out who is the baddest man on the planet in boxing.
A Thessalonian you're fighting. He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him.
That's why no one will remember your name.
Because the real baddest man on the planet will be settled right here. November 11th. Madison Square Garden, UFC heavyweight champ Jon Jones defends his belt against the greatest heavyweight to do it of all time, Stipe Miocic. These two dudes have been bickering back and forth for a while. The contract is signed. Madison Square Garden, November 11th, we see Jon Jones defend the heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic. One man, Jon Jones, just won the title. One man, Stipe Miocic, wants his title back. Get comfortable for this one. John Jones holds the record for the most light heavyweight defenses. Also holds the record for the most titles ever stripped from a champion in the UFC. Went up a weight class. Defeated Cyril Gane in the first round by submission to capture the heavyweight title. And he's more than willing to take all comers. He wanted Ngannou and Ngannou left. So now he gets this man. Stipe Miocic, greatest heavyweight to do it of all time. Holds the record for the most heavyweight title defenses. Lost his title to Francis Ngannou. Taking a break, figuring life out, still training, still ready to do the damn thing, and he wants to step up and fight John Jones. He figures, hey, John thinks he's the baddest in this division. I am the baddest in this division. Let's go. I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. What I want to happen and what are going to happen, two very different things, and that's why we love mixed martial arts. John Jones holds the heavyweight belt right now. John Jones, all the records. At one point, the youngest UFC light heavyweight champion. As I said, the most light heavyweight title defenses. Went up a weight class, won that belt. All the submissions. He has beat legend after legend, and he would like to retire holding that heavyweight belt. Stipe doesn't see this ending that way. He wants to go back, reclaim what's his, take that belt back. Most heavyweight title defenses, most active heavyweight fighter. This fight will determine who the baddest man in all of combat sports is. November 11th, Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. These two guys will go at each other. John Jones has said he beats Stipe, he's probably going to retire, which is weird because he just signed a multi-fight deal with the UFC, so why would you say you're going to retire to fight Stipe? Maybe he's worried some of these young and up-and-coming lions will come at him and take his title, and he doesn't want that, which is understandable, but why sign a fight deal if you're then saying, oh, if I beat Stipe, I'm going to retire? Fucking weird. Whatever. I, personally, would like to see Stipe win, get that title, and then retire. Call it good. Take that belt back, say, yeah, beat John Jones, took my title back, riding off into the sunset. That's what I would like to see happen. Is that going to happen? I don't know. It'll be real interesting. John Jones will probably do what John Jones does and put away another legend. But if Stipe wins, if Stipe submits him or knocks him out, I don't think this fight's going to decision. It would be interesting if it does, but I don't think either guys are letting it go that far. Stipe knocks out John Jones, holds that title up, and then he decides, I've done enough. Thanks, folks. See you later. That would be amazing.
Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Right on, baby. Right on.
This next fight, if it actually happens, Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Both these guys were coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. The only reason to coach The Ultimate Fighter is because the coaches fight each other. We've already had that happen. That season's already over. Wasn't that good of a season, so don't worry about it. We still have not heard a date these two guys are fighting. We still have not heard weight class these two guys are fighting. First it was going to be at 155. Then it was going to be at 170. Okay, both these guys have fought in those weight classes. Then Conor tweets out his next fight's at 185. Chandler tweets back, 185? Cool. Easier weight cut for me. We still don't know a date. We still don't know a place. We still don't know a time. The UFC has said nothing so far. Could it be because of Conor McGregor needing to get off the sauce and pass a USADA test? Probably. He did have that gnarly leg break. He's been going through some training, but the man has been in the gym. The man is yoked. The man also recently got his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, the only thing that beats wrestling is Jiu-Jitsu. The only thing that beats Jiu-Jitsu is wrestling. Michael Chandler, very decorated wrestler. Conor McGregor now has a black belt. Those two things, maybe they even out, maybe they don't. Who knows? But what we can say is Conor is coming off that devastating leg injury to Dustin Poirier. Man is looking yoked. He's been in the gym. May also have been on the sauce, and we're waiting for him to cycle off the sauce. I don't know. I'm not him. I can't say. But also, I'm not fighting him, so I don't care if he's on the sauce. You know who else doesn't care if he's on the sauce? Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler will fight a steroided Connor. He'll fight Connor with a metal leg. He doesn't give a fuck. Wants is a date, a place, and a time, and he'll put his mouthpiece in, and he'll be there. That's all Michael Chandler ever needs. His entire career. He doesn't care who it is. He just wants to fight. Here's the thing. McGregor, still out there doing McGregor shit. The Lambos, the whiskey, the partying, living that Playboy lifestyle, keeping up his image. But the dude is in the gym, and he's looking great in the gym. But how much of the two different lifestyles are going to combine? Again, as we've all seen, once that cage door closes, Conor McGregor going to Conor McGregor. So who knows what the hell's going to happen? But you know who doesn't care about the partying or the gym? All he wants is the mouthpiece and the cage door locked. Is this man. Michael Chandler. Dude is always in the gym. Dude is always training. He is ready to step in and fight at any time, anyone. Here's the rub. I get the feeling if we don't start getting some noise made soon of this fight happening, Chandler's not going to wait forever. Chandler wants to fight. He wants to get back in the mix. Probably one more run left in him to get to that title. And can he do it? Of course. But will he? Is it going to be against McGregor? I don't think he's going to care. I think he's going to give it another probably maybe 2 weeks, and then he's going to pass on that. I don't know what we're waiting for, except for we're waiting for Conor to be able to sign on that line. Conor to say, yes, he'll pass the drug test. I don't think Chandler cares about the drug test. Chandler just wants, sign on the line, tell me where to be, let's go. Big thing with these guys, they've both won and lost titles. They've both made names for themselves. That's not what either is fighting for anymore. Now they're fighting for legacy. Could either of them have one more title run in them? Could they take a belt at 170? Yeah, it's goddamn Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor. Of course they could. That's not what this fight is about. This fight is about two dudes wanting to prove I'm better than you. Let's go. All we're waiting for is a time and a date. I don't know who's going to win this fight. I never bet against Conor McGregor. One time he took on Donald Cerrone. I always put my money on Cerrone. We know how that fight went. Didn't go well for Cerrone. Chandler's never backed down from a fight. He always shows up ready to go. He doesn't care who it is. Conor has never backed out of a fight. He doesn't care who it is. He runs his mouth. He gets in the cage. He puts on a show. If this fight happens, folks, big if. If it doesn't happen, I don't think it'll be Michael Chandler's fault. This fight happens, I'm predicting fireworks.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Give it to me like I want it. Give it to me like
You don't realize is that it ain't easy. It is hard goddamn work making something pretty look like a shot working, so I must be doing it for a reason.
This inspirational, motivational moment, we hear wise words from the man, Ethan Hawke.
Is a thing that worries me sometimes whenever you talk about creativity, because it can have this kind of feel that it's just nice, you know, or it's warm, or it's something pleasant. It's not. It's vital. It's the way we heal each other. In singing our song, in telling our story, in inviting you to say, hey, listen to me, and I'll listen to you, we're starting a dialogue, you know? And when you do that, this healing happens. And we come out of our corners, and we start to witness each other's common humanity. We start to assert it. And when we do that, really good things happen. So if you want to help your community, if you want to help your family, if you want to help your friends, you have to express yourself. And to express yourself, you have to know yourself. It's actually super easy. You just have to follow your love, right? There is no path. There's no path till you walk it. And you have to be willing to play the fool. So don't, read the book that you should read. Read the book you want to read. Right? Don't listen to the music that you used to like. Take some time to listen to some new music. Take some time to talk to somebody that you don't normally talk to. I guarantee if you do that, you will feel foolish. That's the point. Play the fool.
All right, as the first guest for the new version of Neon Ghost Show, I could think of no one better than my boy Ted. He is my creative partner in crime. He is one of my favorite people on the planet. He helps me in all aspects of art that I do, and he's just a great human being. And so I reached out, took some doing, but I got him. Here's me and my boy, Ted Dowling.
Oh my God. It's just, you know what? This is even can you hear me? I don't even know.
I can hear you.
This is a loaner computer. That's how my week started last Tuesday, whenever. My computer broke. The screen it like broke on its own. Like a ghost broke the computer. I'm not kidding.
What is Ghost in the Machine?
I'm telling you, like I was looking, like we're having this meeting. Hello. And then I go to the bathroom and I come back and when like a pebble hits your screen, if someone shot your screen with a pebble gun, it cracks and then the colors bleed. That had happened. No, I wasn't anyway. So this is a computer that was that thing. That's what I'm dealing with. And then at the end of the day, I walked away with COVID. I was like, this is the worst. I mean, people have had worse days. I understand that there's a war in Ukraine. I'm not saying, but in terms of, when you have those days where you're like, Jesus, I just should not have left the room today. Anyway. So that was last Tuesday. So I'm not sure. There's no lights in this room. Listen, I apologize. You're still waiting for the scene. This is being recorded, so I'm just.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving all this in the show too.
Right, and and I never got. I still, it's I have the script in my robe pocket. Not that I'm so close to the screen, because the farther I go back,
that's not a good view.
Well, this is
better.
Should I turn that? That's the one light.
No, leave it on. That's good. I like it.
On. I mean, it's very unprofessional. You'd never know. Like, I've been in films and
this is the thing with you. Why are you looking for professional?
I haven't auditioned in like 3 years.
Why are you looking for professional? It's a shitty comedy show that I do.
Well, you know what? Truthfully, here's the thing. I've had a lot of time to think about why I haven't been able to send you. Really, just what did you ask for? You were like, at least for this one, you were like, just sit down and read the fucking story. Just read it out loud, like you're reading a good night story.
Yep.
So I was like, man, you don't even need to learn the line. He's just, and I was, but here I realized, I thought a lot about it in my COVID. I need a pillow. I'm fucking, anyway, how's that? Is that, look, who's that? Oh, and anyway, and I thought, we've talked a lot about Big Girl, and I love Big Girl, but I realized as I was sitting down, and this is going to sound, I don't know, maybe silly or trivial to a degree, but I realized that I don't know what Big Girl sounds like, and and in previous roles, I don't. If this makes any sense, I haven't found his voice, and if I don't know a character's voice in a play or a script or something, it's weird. I cannot start learning the lines. Like I can't, you know what I mean? And so what I was thinking, I just haven't, because in my mind, I know what he looks like. I just don't know what his cadence is. And so then
if I said, Ron White in Roadies,
I would have to watch it again, because I remember watching that show with such high expectations and being so disappointed. Well, I was so disappointed in the possibilities of what that show could have been. It's like it went halfway there. It wasn't.
I think the show was great.
But I also realize I'm looking at it from a guy who has worked in that industry for the last 30 years, so I know exactly how to load in. But I just think there's so many funny things, like the regular. It wasn't as good as it could have been.
When I originally thought up and wrote the character Big Earl, Ron White was who I was basing it on,
but I was writing it for you. So if you have to find his voice where he is, like rewatch a couple scenes, couple episodes of that, because that was where I was going with it. Only I think you could do better.
It's interesting. I mean, I remember liking. I mean, I love some parts of it, but then it was like they didn't get what an actual load-in is. You know what I mean? Or like
there were parts like that were like you don't have time to sit here and have these conversations.
That's not grounded in any type of reality whatsoever. And but that's not fair to everyone else, only because we work, and you know what I mean. And
you'll see.
I can't.
When I'm done with this episode, I'll send it to you. Do you remember who Carson Daly was?
You mean like
TRL
from MTV?
Yes. So he had a late night show, and the first season was the typical late night show with the stage and all that stuff. But then his second season, I think he kind of invented a free form of podcasting. He would be somewhere like his radio station. He'd be somewhere and he would say what the lineup of the show was. And if he was going to be interviewing Kid Rock, because he's friends with all those guys. So he would say, here's my time with Kid Rock. And then it would cut to him in an empty bar with Kid Rock sitting at a bar. And it's just the two of them bullshitting. And I always thought that's the best way to do a show.
Oh, that's the best way. I
right?
Agree with that.
So then now with changing up this show and it's going to go on Spotify and YouTube. And part of that is now I'm not held down to having to do a show, having to have a microphone, having to turn it in and all that stuff. I can do Zoom, I can do all this other stuff. But then I can also do other multimedia things that will still play audio on Spotify, but also on YouTube. So that's why with the Big Earl story we talked about, like, whatever this first part of the show was, then it would cut to story time with Big Earl. And then it's Big Earl sitting wherever Big Earl wants to sit, and he's just reading the page that I gave him, and then he would close it and say, that reminds me of, and then you just make up some random story. He doesn't even have to deal with the story.
There were very simple instructions.
Very simple.
And
you are my creative partner in crime, and yet we can't be pulling no crime.
But I have to say that COVID, and I don't want to make this about COVID, but I'm still testing positive. But I after avoiding it for I don't know 2.5 years or almost 3 years, I really thought maybe I was chosen, like in The Stand. Like I needed to see Mother Abigail. You know what I mean? Like no matter how bad the variants go, and there, I've read enough science fiction to know that, or in reality, if we keep getting variants, eventually it's going to be 28 days later. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going to happen. But so I thought there would always be like a small group that it just is naturally immune. You know what I mean? And I had to be in it because I had been around it, and we worked publicly. I'm just around audience and patrons, and and the masks have come and gone, and we all try what we can try, but then I got it, and it's like, it's like, for me, it's like having mono. And when it's like, I'll go to the bathroom and come back and think, Jesus, I got to rest for at least 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
I got to hold it down. And then creatively, you're like, the idea of sitting down, I was like, man, you're supposed to be you are, I guess, a working professional actor. You've done some things, but if someone like called you and said, listen, David Lynch wants you, they're going to redo that scene and they need you to send another tape or whatever tomorrow, I thought, you are currently in a position where you don't even have like a microphone or a proper light or like a backdrop. I thought. So then I thought, this is all going with why you never got Big Earl reading a story. Okay. And then I thought, Jesus, if you can't even figure out where you would actually put it, like, how would I get the camera to stay up? And it just turned into, and then I would get so tired, I'd be like, fuck, I'll nap, and I'll have some soup later.
And then when later comes, you're like, I don't.
And then later comes, and then it's 5 days later, and then you're like, asshole, could you send me something? And then I'd be like, I'm a bad friend, I'm a bad person.
Actually, you know what? I kind of like this better because you used to give me shit all the time for being banned from the show and all that stuff. And then I pointed out to you the last time we did that. You've been on it the most. So stop.
I don't think that's possible.
No, 100% true. 100% true. You're in the Hall of Fame. So I
feel like because I loved being on I loved going up to see, but I like having the I do need to get I don't know, this isn't interesting, but I do need a good mic, and not a loaner computer from work. Like at some point I'm like, man, you turn 50 in 11 days. So why don't you become an adult and get some tools for one of your passions that you want to do in life?
I got extra mics that are good. I'll give you one.
Yeah, well, see, but that's, make a space. I mean, at some point I could show you, because the coaster area has turned into a magical place behind me. Like
I do want to see it. Not right. You don't have to get up right now, but I do want to come see it.
That's turned into a.
How did that come about? Deciding to make the coasters?
Oh, I had an idea, because I love the past. I've always been a collector of things, even when I played pretty competitive soccer when I was young. Back in the day, you would have patches. Your team would
on the jerseys.
like based on the European clubs, you'd have a flag and a logo or something like that. So we used to trade patches. So I just found, last time I went home, I found like a box of 300 of my prize soccer patches that I traded at tournaments. So anyway, we get all these passes at work, and there's usually extras, and some of them are I just think just gorgeous pieces of art. You know what I mean? And plus, I love some bands or passes from certain memorable shows, both good and bad. It's nice to have. So over the years, I would just keep the passes, and then. And then I thought, well, in that stupid I'm still in college way, wouldn't these be great in a basement bar? If you put them all out and then you had the glass down, but who has that time or woodwork skills? I don't, or a basement bar area. So then the pandemic hit, and then I had been thinking would it be great as coasters, you know what I mean? Because I've always really liked coasters, and I always find it interesting that I don't think the majority of the world pays any attention to how fun and how important coasters are. And I think you go to stores and you're like, God, these coasters are fucking awful. Like what? I mean, they're all the same.
When you go to restaurants and they give you those little fucking cardboard
things, I thought this is an opportunity. So then I started doing, the pandemic hit, and I was like, I can't, we're not allowed to leave the house. And I was living in the tiny house of terror. So I thought, okay, well, let's, we'll try making some coasters. And the first batch, I thought, but when you put something together and you're like, there's something to this that is very cool. And I showed it to my wife, Shani, and who's always been quality. And you and Stephanie were involved in it from the beginning. You guys kind of looked at the first few batches. But I really think that there's something there. And what's, as a collector, you're like, these are actually, you can't just buy these passes. Sometimes it shows like at a Dylan show, or if you love like a David Bowie, they give like 12 of these out. And so it's not like you can go to merch, you know what I mean? You had to have been at that show or know someone who actually went there. And then I just thought they would be great as coasters. I have them
everywhere. I have them in my office here, the other office I have at home. I got my Candlebox one right here.
Right, the Candlebox, but that's one of the original. One of the
I love them. I love ever since you do it.
But I've gone more to heavier granite because I think they should be heavier. In my mind, I've always had a vision of what I think the perfect coaster is. I like stone. You know what I mean? It's heavy. Yeah. I don't like when coasters sometimes, and I understand when things condensate, they get sticky, and sometimes the coaster comes up. But if the heavier the coaster is, the harder it is to pull it up.
So do you buy do you buy the slabs this big, or do you make them have them and make them?
No, I buy just like the hard kind of ceramic squares or the stone squares, and then I either paint or sand. You know what I mean? But I don't. If I could have a stone saw, I would be great, because I've realized that it's been interesting as I've done more and more. The coasters have gotten the materials have changed a little bit, and because I've gotten pretty good at knowing that if I do, that the process really works with once you find the right paint and the right resin, and if you have the patience to, a lot of them need to be resins 2 or 3 times. So that takes maybe 48 hours total. You know what I mean? Um, and then I would show them the people and they'd be like, wow, these are great. And then, I started my silly little store and on Etsy, and people, I think I've sold 200 or something.
What's the store? Is it I'm with the band?
Yeah, I'm with the band, but because that's people have said that to me more than anything.
It's great. I like it.
When I'll be like, who are are you allowed back here? Hey man, I'm with the band. Okay, all right, you're with the band. So anyway, so that's how it started, and I just think they're great gifts, and I just think, and I love coasters, and Porsche, our house, they're everywhere in the house.
Oh, I bet.
But
I can 100% picture like they're stacked
the
up.
heavier ones have I've gotten pretty proud of them. Now I haven't. No one's seen the heavier ones because I don't know what I should sell them. I'm still kind of, I think they should be sold in sets. Because it's nice to for not, if you just buy one coaster, that's not really,
But then how do you make them into a set? Is it grunge band, or do you have 4 of these passes? Like,
no. I tried out. I was thinking go design, but now I go, and this is a fun thing. I try to put like the type of music together. So like if you wanted an easy listening kind of night, maybe.
So it's like a mixtape, but with coasters.
It's like a mixtape. Well, yeah, but it's coasters. But I would try to do it where it was, every set would be one mood. Like you couldn't throw Enya in with Snoop. That's just not going to work from a coaster set. But if you did all like, the 80s, I mean, shows that we've worked, like Hall & Oates, I don't know, Depeche Mode, you can do an 80s one, a grunge,
no, that's fair. I like
it. Christmas.
So
so that's kind of how it started. And but I'm also convinced, I think they're great, and I think they could be people would really, I think, purchase them, because they're at the shop on the island, and I do sell maybe 10 or 12 a month, which is not like, look out, I'm gonna retire,
retirement coming.
Because I realized the other day, my dad, and I think Shannon too, was like, hey, what's the cost of making each coaster, and then compared to what you're selling it for? And I thought, oof, that's
not,
we're
not, don't worry about those numbers.
We might be right breaking even, but like
Ted said, hey, I'm an artist, not an accountant.
No, because there's little things like I used to be good at this, but I ebb and flow with like receipts, like if you really should make this like just your stupid coaster, it should be like a business. It's because you know what I mean. There are some costs of materials and things like that. But anyway, at some point,
I think you use it as a form of creative therapy. So why?
I love making them, you know what I mean? And I love giving them to people, and I love when people, especially because I just love music. So for me, at the end of the day, I'll still make the coasters, but the taxing is hard enough. Like I struggle at certain things, like just adulting.
So let me ask you this, but you have to, for the first part at least, keep it American, because we're in October. Your top 3 horror movies, American horror movies.
You mean from the U.S., right? Yes. You don't want me to go the top 3.
I don't want you to go Korean or all the other
are just 3 that I really enjoy.
That you like, the top 3 that come to your head that you enjoy, but people are going to have heard of.
That people will have heard of, or not?
Yeah. Not your career.
I mean, it depends on what people. I mean, anyone who's
people who listen to this show.
But I don't even know who listens to this.
I don't either. So,
but I would say people who at least appreciate good horror or good films. Sometimes if I'm talking to someone who I realize, I don't want to judge other people. Who maybe not as well versed or as well. Who thinks like Fright Night is the greatest horror film ever made. But I like Fright Night.
I like both of them. The remake with Colin Farrell was good too.
But I would say I think 3 of my favorite October horror kind of ghostly films is there's one called The Changeling with George C. Scott. I think it's Canadian. I don't know if it's US, but that's on the North American continent.
That's fine. I'll count that. I've never heard of it.
Which is just one of those it's kind of a ghost story with the little teeth, but it's not like Hellraiser kind of gross. But I love George C. Scott, and that one has always stuck with me since I first saw it. And it was made in like, I don't know, 77 or something like that. Top two or three? I
went top three.
I mean, I love a good zombie. I'm a huge 28 Days Later fan.
That is a good movie.
But I don't know if that's my favorite.
No, it is now. That's what we're going with. That was the one that came to mind. So that's what we're going
with. That can't be like the top three. I don't know.
Why can't it? It's your choice right now in this moment.
We got to go tit for tat. You give me one, because when it's you could do.
My newest one that I watched, I found it last year, is Trick or Treat. I'd never heard of this movie. I watched this movie's great. Brian Cox is in this movie.
It is great. Yeah.
And I've become a huge fan of horror anthologies now. But Trick or Treat is now it's become a thing for me. It's not Halloween unless I watch Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat's good.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat's good. I had one and then it went away. I have to say it's brand new. It just came out. But I think Talk to Me, but that's not American. It's Australian.
I watch it. Is it good? It's on my thing. Is it good?
I think I loved it. I thought for movies that have done, and I'm a little not jaded, but a little biased, because anytime I've seen so many of those movies where someone finds something, or it's a box, or you know what I mean, and if something happens with a group of young friends, and it goes bad because they summon, it's a Ouija board or whatever happens to the group of 4 to 7 who decide to do this, and one by one they're haunted, whether it's through their phone, it doesn't matter, or they take a picture and in the picture they're all weird. But so I feel like much more than most of movies like that, because I love that concept. But Talk to Me was so good by making that concept feel like I'd never seen that concept. And
okay, now I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, so much that I bought the movie, and I rarely go.
Oh, that's rare for you.
Yeah, that's very rare for me to purchase a movie, where I own it.
Yeah.
But I was floored by how unsettling it was, how well done it was made, and the acting, and they're all young, younger people that I've never heard of. But the writing is great, and the way it's constructed, I truly loved it, so much so that I thought I was telling Shannon, and she was like, I don't think you should watch this. I think this is too scary for you. You know what I mean? It's genuinely.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna watch the movie tonight.
Yeah, no, and I don't get scared with movies like that, but I could see how people I know, like her and other people who get a little unsettled. It's really unsettling, because it's extremely well done. It's good.
Okay, I'm about to watch
so that would be that. I love that one. That's going to become an October must see for me moving forward.
I really liked the original It, but then I liked the new one too, like what the guy had done with it.
Yeah, I think they did. I do like the new ones. I'm more partial to the first half of the old one.
Agreed.
Once it sadly, and they were kind of limited with some of the CGI. By the time in the old one, the second half, you know what I mean? It was like a 2-night special. So
the original one was made for TV, right? It was never in theaters.
It was never in theaters. It was made for TV. And so the first night, I just think is better. It's more true to the story, and I love a lot of those people that I can't. What's his name? Richard Thomas, and a bunch of
John
Ritters, and I love a lot of them as actors and as characters. And so, and I had read the book, kind of, I don't know when that came out, like 80. It's a while ago, that the original. And I think I had just read the book, you know what I mean? And it's still maybe one of my favorite Stephen King books. And so I'm very partial to the old one, but they did well with the new one. And I liked, it's a good one. I'm trying to think. You know what? What was the ghost? This isn't even. I don't think I think I've inadvertently not given you one American film, but because this one I don't think is The Others. Is that with Nicole Kidman?
Get out of here. Fuck, yeah.
Oh, I love the others.
No,
I'm a kind of a traditional
no,
ghost story haunted house guy.
no.
You know,
Mine is just Nicole Kidman. I can't stand her.
what's your thing with Nicole? Now,
Just
I don't even know these days if who's done what. I don't pay attention. Hopefully, Nicole is just you don't like her because of some reason. Not
oh, I
because
just don't like her acting. Like she's not believable and stuff to me.
no, but that was more the story. I just that's not my top three though. I'm just randomly shouting out ghost movies as they pop through my mind.
Ghost is a good movie.
Yeah, but
Ghost is a
that's not
great movie.
Ghost is a great movie, but that's not a. In fact, Ghost holds up more better than you think. I feel.
Yeah, Ghost does it. Oh, yes, agreed. I watch it.
I feel because I thought it would be I thought it would be much cornier than I remembered because I think I watched it again after like I don't know 20 years or 15 years.
No, it holds up.
And I thought, oh, it's pretty good. And I forgot about the guy on the train. I always liked that actor. He's been
Yeah, who teaches him how to push the thing? And
yeah,
yeah.
But he did a lot of movies around that time, and
I
maybe
never
still
understood.
working.
You know when he grabs him and he sticks his head out the train, the other train's coming. I'm always like,
Yeah.
but you're a ghost. Even if it comes, you're just gonna like, what are you afraid of?
But I forgot. I had forgotten, like totally forgotten about that part. You know what I mean? And but that's a good one. I don't know if I put that in. I think it's wrong of you to throw that in an October scare movie.
No, you were saying ghost movie, so I was just throwing it out there. Ghost.
Oh, we're now. Oh, that you're jumping. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to. I feel like we're missing a lot. I will say I just saw. This isn't a movie, and I don't. Again, I think it's British. I don't know. I'm not giving you an American one yet. I'm not doing it. Oh, you know what one I thought was really well done. I don't even know if it's American, but have you seen It Follows?
I think so. That's isn't
Wow.
the promo thing like there's a car and like a hand or something? It came out years ago.
It came out
It's not
years
new.
ago. If I had to guess, although there's not really about a car, but I feel like in some movie poster might have a car on it with It Follows. It's kind of a
I think I saw it like a long time ago, but I don't
anyway
remember.
where someone just that's really well done.
Okay.
That's a quiet gem.
So I need
the
to
idea that
rewatch It Follows and
yeah, really rewatch It Follows. The woman that is great in that. I love her. I forget her name, but she's great. But that concept, and they really do it well because I just can't imagine the room where that idea was pitched in. You know, in terms of how they even got that movie made. Okay, so here's the thing: the whole time, someone is just following you. They're just walking. Like no matter you could take a plane, they can't take a plane. They just slowly are walking toward you. That's kind of the concept of the movie.
Like Michael Myers style, like they're just walking.
They're just walking. They're just walking. They're never running. There's no running. They don't see you and move faster.
That's the Michael Myers. That's what makes him the creepiest of them all to me is you never see him running.
No.
You never see him straining or out of breath. It's always just slow, steady movements. Even when he's like kicking open a door, it's just that's why he is the top to me.
There is something very unsettling about that. And but the way they do it in the movie is it's fucking great. And it's really because bad things happen. It's a creepy movie, but like they'll show like the outside of a park, like let's say you're inside a school looking out the high school window, and your school overlooks a park. So there's a bunch of people like moving around, and the camera just like will hold there, and then you'll notice, and it's someone who's dressed like just normally. It's just a normal. It's not like a ghost or a demon looking guy. It's just someone who is walking very slowly, or just walking in a straight line directly at the camera, and that it's creepy. It's creepy. You got to. You know what one I just watched too, and who makes all the kind of there's like 8 of them. He's one of the directors. No, it's like 31 Clowns from Hell or something like that. He's made it's like what Devil's Gang. I gotta look it up. I don't want to get on my phone.
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie. What? Give me some of those movies.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Those ones. That whole group.
The Devil's Own.
Devil's Candy.
The Halloween remakes.
Yeah, the Halloween remake. His most recent one.
Oh, the witch one.
No, not. It's
Salem.
like 31. There's 31 in it. There's like 31 clowns or monsters you have to deal with. The can look it up. Look it
I
up.
am.
I gotta have something to drink. Jesus, I haven't talked this much in 6 days. So
Oh, it's just called 31.
there you go. Look at that. That whole time I said the first thing right.
You totally did. Came out in 2016.
Yeah, I went in that with. I mean, because I think the Rob Zombie ones are.
Yeah, it
I mean,
depends. Give or take. The Devil's Rejects was good.
Yeah, but they're all kind of. I mean, and they're not bad. I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like they're a little gratuitous, just to be gratuitous. But
That's how I feel about Tarantino movies.
yeah, he's got. I think I'm up and down with him. I think
Zombie or Tarantino.
Tarantino. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Tarantino has some absolutely brilliant movies.
He does, but then there are times when like it's a little much.
And then, but I like yeah. But with Rob Zombie's, I guess I can kind of tell it's a Rob Zombie movie, which I kind of like because
Oh yeah, that's fair.
whatever type of camera and the colors and I do like that. It's like who did he do? Who did the Batman movies? The ones that are like 8 hours long.
Christopher Nolan.
What?
Christopher Nolan.
No, I know that he did the Dark Knight. The other ones, the Zack Snyder, the
Batman movies, the newest one, the
Batman versus Superman, the big ones, the Justice League.
That was Zack Snyder.
Yeah. I don't know. He's.
I know. I get what you mean with
they
him.
look the same. And I like how his movies look. I like how Rob Zombie's movies look. But 31 was fucking good.
Okay.
Like I loved it. I was like, this is
see
good.
Now you've given me 3 horror movies to watch. See how we got there?
The lead guy who's there at the beginning, I'm not really giving anything away, but I love that actor, but the way he turns into the guy, because he's kind of, it's one of those stories where like it's another one. There's a group of 6 to 8 people, and then they're kidnapped or wake up, and now they have to deal with this disaster. Now we've got to make it through this fucking house of hell. And so he gets brought in because they actually do pretty well. You know what I mean? I mean, they don't all make it, but like, you know what I mean? Like the group actually, they hang in there longer than it's anticipated by the game masters. So they bring this guy in, and I almost texted you about it because it's in the writing, and it's what he does as an acting, the way he transforms into what he becomes. I just thought I'd never seen that in a movie like that, and I watched it maybe 3 to 5 times in a row, just that scene, because how he becomes, it's great. So I really like 31. Yeah.
In the order I should go, Talk to Me, 31, It Follows.
I would go, depending on your mood, I would go 31. That one's kind of like you know what I mean? That one's It Follows. That'll put you in the mood, and then Talk to Me.
So we're saving best for last in that scenario.
And I think Talk to Me is the best of those films.
Okay.
And the most unsettling. It's good. It's good.
So when you start feeling better, are you going to do character work for me?
Yeah.
You're going to be you're going to be part of my show and
no,
work
yeah,
on your acting chops.
I have to find. I gotta find. I'll watch. You know what's funny? I know. I feel like I've held up, but this maybe will at least buy me a little bit of a window of time. I'll watch because I'm still positive, which I can't believe, but I think the line is getting a little fainter. I don't know if that means anything.
It means it's going away.
Does it? Or maybe it means I just didn't get enough on my.
Like when you first start getting it, it's faint, and then you'll get it, and it'll be like pink. It's like, motherfucker, you got COVID, like dark pink, and then it'll start fading again. So it kind of goes like that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. You're right, because it was a little faint. I mean, it wasn't faint that first time, but on day 3, it was like, bam,
Yeah.
this is a black line, baby.
Yep.
And then it stayed like that for like
3-4 days.
6 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
And just today, for the first time, I was like, wait a minute. That's a little different.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I guess in a couple of days, it'll be gone.
It'll go away.
That took way too long to get there for an explanation. But I appreciate your patience. But yes, I will.
I just think it would be fun. And then the other one that I was talking about when I am reading a batshit crazy story and then call time out and cut to can be bigger.
And
I just think it'd be fun for you to do.
You don't understand the true. I really felt bad that I didn't get you anything, and I had all these ideas because I've had a lot of time. I'm locked in the base. I'm not locked. I'm staying in the basement here to try to not go upstairs where the other people who don't have COVID are. Anyway, I thought so much about it. I even had this idea that but it was all, I just didn't know how he sounded. I thought, what if you just started like in your robe like you are now, because as Big Earl, as this tour manager that you and I have talked about, his like assistant has given him this thing that he has to read for the singer's niece whose birthday it is, or something like that. And like you just use all of that annoyance over your texting me that you haven't sent, like just use all of that and start with that, and then just improv your way into the story, and then reading the story and having to take breaks because you don't feel well. Like,
but see, this is the you thing of now you're overthinking shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Like my original, it was simple. What I gave you was simple, and now look at what you're like.
And I thought, man, you are going way too far with this, and now it's like you're not auditioning for Juilliard with something that you have to create from the depths of your soul. The man just asked you to read a story out loud. He doesn't fucking
and then improvise
care.
After.
Yeah, listen, I understand. But then as it became longer and longer, I thought, now this has become like your albatross. Like, I don't even know if you can audition for anything until you just read this story out loud. I can't.
It's become, what is the white whale? It's become my Moby Dick to track you down to get you to do this.
So I'll do it. All right, I'll do it.
Okay.
All right. No, I'm in. I feel like I've loved. Thank you for having me on. I think this has been great. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like my maybe is it interesting? I never know.
What interesting?
It's what we're talking about. I guess it doesn't matter if it's interesting.
It's you and me talking.
That's true. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. When is it not interesting? We have enough friends that like hearing us bullshit together anyway. So
that is true. And then look who's been here the whole time.
The look on that face is like it wants you to just stop talking and pet it.
Yeah. Well, I should go anyway because my voice is starting to. Plus, I'm getting tired. This is a big step. Although, look, I look like I'm 78 years. I look like the dude in
Big Lebowski.
Well, just in terms of, I don't say I'm like Jeff Bridges, but just in terms of I might have to shave the beard. It's so white. Anyway,
I don't think you need to. I think you're fine.
All right.
I think it'll suit Big Earl to have it like that.
That's the thing. I was like, no, a lot of the characters you would like to play would have beards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot you could do with the beard.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
Glad you were the first. I'm glad we still worked it out that you were the first guest on the new version of the show.
I appreciate that. And I'm sorry. I'm going to work on your stuff. I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I love you. Feel better.
All right. I love you too, man. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on the first episode of Neon Go Show. I want to thank you for wasting your time with me. Big up to Ted. Man has COVID still stepped up for me. And as always, you stay you. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be where I'm at. Right here. The Neon Go Show. And as the great Chuck Woolery would say, we'll be back in 2 and 2.
Hey, this is Titus. Signing off at WKRP in Cincinnati.